Alright, well, so the drugs, okay. Well, the drugs I really didn't, okay, well, the heavy drugs, I really didn't start getting into it until I was 19. Really, my cousin, okay, she was, no, hold on. The first heavy drug I did was wet. You know what I mean? But it wasn't, I wasn't into that. It wasn't a habit. You know, it was something I did very rarely. The dope, though, the dope. So she comes over one day, and I ended up finding out. Then she tells me, she said, "Do you want some?" According to over there and what she called it, she was like, "Do you want some down?" I'm like, "Down? What the hell is that?" And she says manteca and shit, the dope or whatever. And I was like, "Nah." She was like, "You sure?" She was like, "Look." And so they go to the bathroom, her and my best friend, and then that's when I was really shocked too, that my best friend was doing it with her and shit. They go to the bathroom, I go to the bathroom with them, and she takes a sniff of it and just starts throwing up. I was like, "What the hell? Why the hell do I want to do that?" Like, it's just that's what the fuck you get out of it. No, I'm good, yo. So when I said no, she basically made it seem like she wasn't fucking with me no more after that. And it's crazy because me and her, like, we had a very tight relationship, growing up and all that. So, like, when she did that, like, I was like, wow, like, that's fucked up. Like, and it wasn't until like months later when I seen her again. It was my best friend's birthday, and they were there. I went there, and they said they was about to go to the bathroom or whatever, and they asked me again if I wanted some, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll try it and shit. So I did it. The first time, I was throwing up for hours. I was supposed to go to the store, and yeah, it was right down the block. I was stuck on that damn same block for the next 2 hours, throwing up behind a goddamn bush. And they were wondering the whole time what the fuck happened to me when I finally got back, and I told them. And I didn't touch it again until, I'll say, maybe like a year, almost a year later. Um, Let me see. A couple months before that year, I had went to go do Backpage. So someone who I was with, he had asked me, if I would do this escorting thing or whatever. And when he told me that, I told him, I said, "You don't love me." And I was really mad at him, so I didn't talk to him for a while. But I was pregnant, and my sister also ran away from my mother's house. Now, she was she was 16. She was 16 at the time, um, going on 17. And like I said, she wasn't trying to go back to my mother's house, and I begged and pleaded her because I didn't want her to follow into my steps. And yeah, her final decision was just no, she wasn't. So she fell under my care. But the thing was that I didn't have it. You know what I mean? I didn't have money. I didn't have shit. You know what I mean? I had started hustling around that time, but like I wasn't making out like that. So afterwards, okay, so on June 8th, to be exact, I still remember this like it was yesterday. There was a situation that was going on with someone whom I was with at that time, and he basically was robbing gas stations, back to back. And his friend kind of messed up on the whole, checking out the last place that they had did. His job was to, look out to see where cameras was or whatever, blah, 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 and shit. And he basically fucked up. He didn't give them the right information or whatever, and so they got caught the fuck up on camera. And but the whole thing was that they were watching him, and they had pictures of me and him just walking down the street together and all that. So they wanted to know who had parts to do with what. But anyways, but it was the feds though that were after him. Now, so that very same day was actually also his birthday too. But anyways, me and my sister were together, and we were sitting in the car. No, hold on. Before we sat in the car, my sister, she tells me, she says, Tiffany, she's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, damn, like, I ain't got shit to fucking give her. I ain't got money, nothing. So I went to my best friend and I asked her, I said, Ebony, can you get my sister something to eat? And Ebony's like, well, I'm like, look at me, like, I'm being serious. Like, can you give her something to eat? She's all right, give me a minute, I'll talk to my mom or whatever. So she went and did that, and she came back. She was like, well, what about you? I said, don't worry about me. I just want to make sure she's okay. And she's like, all right. So that was the moment that I actually made the decision to go and do the escorting. But I had got arrested though a little while after that, like I was saying. So me and my sister were sitting in the car, and we see all these police, all these police are like, suited up and all this shit, like a whole bunch, had to be over 50 of them, no exaggeration, going down all these alleyways, going up and down the blocks. I'm like, damn, they going down hard as hell on somebody and shit, you know what I mean? So they come over to the car, and my sister's on the driver's side, I'm on the passenger side. And they knock on the window and they ask her what her name was. She said, my name's Janice. And they was like, never mind. So they kept walking and shit. And so thing was, so I was blasting music in the car, and we were parked right dead in front of the house next to my best friend's house. She's blasting music too. All of a sudden you see one of the officers come up to her. There's a few people sitting up front too, whatever. And they come up to her. Now, she's never been in trouble before. She's never had no cops come up to her whatsoever. Like, so when they did, she was scared as hell. And they told her, they was like, where's Tiffany at? I can't hear a damn thing though. Music's blasting. I'm just watching and shit. And there's like, where's Tiffany at? And she stuck. They was like, listen, if you don't tell us where she at, you're gonna get charged with disturbing the peace and blah blah blah, basically having to do with her blasting the music and shit. And next thing you know, I see her pointing to the car and shit. I'm thinking to myself, like, after the fact, like after the whole situation, I'm like, yo, you could have pointed anywhere else. They didn't know I was in the car, yo. After that, yeah, they came right up to me and they was like, we got a warrant for your arrest and shit. And I was like, I got a warrant? I already knew I had a warrant. It was from me missing court. That was from when I was, I just a month before that, I was in a youth build program. I was doing construction, actually. And very good at it, too. I was one of the top workers, I was constantly getting awards, and they would get me to fucking fix somebody else's fuck up and shit, So, yeah, it was very good. But the thing was, I had got pregnant, and not just that, but I was staying with my friend, and 2 days in a row, she, well, no, the first night, the alarm clock was, messed up and shit. Then she had got another one, and I told her, I said, set the alarm clock for me. And she was like, all right, I got you. But she ain't do that. And that program was very strict. Like, if you had, by the third time you had a late, by the third time was it, you get kicked out the program. So they didn't play that shit. So like I said, that's literally what made me make the decision though to start the escorting, was after my sister telling me that she was hungry and I couldn't do nothing about it. So I had called, my ex, and I told him, I said that I would do it. And I went to Long Island, and from there, you know, down the line, I had a client ask me if I would smoke crack with him, you know, and that's really that was his thing. It was just, he would want the girl to be butt ass naked with him in the room. He didn't want sex. He didn't want anything. He literally looked just like getting hit in his balls. This was the crazy part. But that was the first time I had ever smoked, and yeah, like I didn't like it either. Like it made me sick and all that, and it wasn't until like then, like the third time I had someone offering to pay me to do it, was then I fell into the habit of it, and then I had started doing the dope too, and so it's been since 2012 that I've been into the habit of, doing the dope.
So what's your current situation
My
right now?
current situation, basically, I need to get my shit straight. I'm out here. I'm homeless right now, actually. I'm back and forth between places. I have people, who are willing to take me in or whatever. But I just, like I said, I need to get my shit straight. I just was in rehab. I mean, 3 months ago, I was in a hospital for a month. Due to and pregnant also. I had a miscarriage. This guy I was with, he hit me in my stomach repeatedly twice, fractured 3 of my ribs. My ribs punctured my lung, and I had 2 abscesses on my chest wall, and I had pneumonia. I was basically on the brink of death, and I decided to go into the hospital either way because I told myself that if I was to get pregnant again, I would do it the right way, you know. And unfortunately, I had the miscarriage the first week I was there. I was 15 weeks pregnant, you know. And everything happens for a reason, you know. But I stood there for the month, and then they sent me to Kensington Hospital the next month, and then went to another rehab afterwards. So I was clean for 62 days. First time, though, that I stood clean that long voluntarily, because any other time other than that was more of obligation, you know. It does
Gotcha.
get tiring. It's not a way to live, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Tiffany, we definitely gonna do a part two, a follow up with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Yep, you're welcome.
And we are rooting for you. Sorry all those horrible things happened to you. You didn't deserve that.
Thank
But I want you to know that you are loved by many. Even if you don't think so, I love you. People out there love you. You're a real one. Train go by, we gonna wrap it up. Yeah, you a real one. And I know you'll get out of this. You look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Real talk.
Thank you.
So, I hope better things come your way. And keep believing in yourself. And be known for your sobriety, not for your addiction.
Yeah.
And recovery is hard, but regret is harder, all right?
Yeah.
So, AML, drop all the positive comments you got for our sister. She's with us now. And remember, don't be bitter. Be better. We out there. Peace out.